Hey everyone, I'm Delaina Burns and I'm with you tonight on Live with Prima. I want to share a layout with you tonight using the butterfly collection. We're going to do lots of stitching and flower clustering and a little bit of mixed media mixed in. So thank you everyone for joining me, whether it's live or later on record. Just want to mention a few announcements before we get started. The next show is going to be Frank Garcia. That's May 19th on Tuesday, 11 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Central Time, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. I always have to remember that. His album is up on Prima's blog today, so if you want to get a look at the album he's going to be making on Tuesday, you can check out Prima's blog. Also, the special delivery was revealed today. It's called Time Capsule. If you want to order one of those, they're absolutely awesome. As always, $100 in value, $39.99, free shipping in the U.S. and discount shipping for international. So y'all be sure and check out livewithprima.com to order one. There's pictures of those over on the blog and on Facebook as well too, so you can get a look at the kit. But I want to go ahead and show you the page we're going to be making tonight. And again, this is the butterfly collection, and lots of flowers, floss, chipboard, just lots of really pretty things. So I'm going to go ahead and pan you down and get started. Haven't done this in a couple of weeks, so let's hope I'm still good at it. Just 1 minute, bear with me. Okay, sorry about that, my phone's ringing. Okay, here's the layout that we're going to be doing, and you can see just lots of pretty flowers and details with the stitching in the background and just tons of clustering here. So I want to kind of show you how I started this, but first let me give you a little bit of a close-up so you can kind of see the depth in this with these florals. Possibly losing my light. Is that pretty clear for y'all? Just want to kind of show you these stitches. And I'm using some really long stitches just for some added interest. I love the idea of using threads and flosses and just any fabric type threads or anything on my pages and mixed in. Being a seamstress at heart, I like to sew, so I like to add that to my scrapbook pages and projects. So you can see we started off with this background paper here. This number is 951160, and that's going to be our background page. And on top of that, I've already worked ahead so it doesn't take so much time with the page we're going to be stitching on, and it is number 951191. And you can see I've cut this piece down. This is your 12 by 12 sheet here. I just cut the selvage off. And this one I cut down. It's 9 3/4 inches wide and 11 inches long. And I'm just going to kind of place it and adhere it all the way to the top and then sort of center it from side to side. But before that, I want to show you how I marked and got started with my stitches. I have a couple of rulers that I used. I have these clear rulers that I got forever ago. They've been in my stash probably since the week I started scrapbooking. And it's got several different layers and lines and grids so that you can kind of mark 1/4 inches and a 1/16 of an inch, a 1/2 inch. It's just got different markings on it. So I did use this, but you can always just use a trusty 12-inch ruler, just whatever you've got. My idea was to give it sort of a dramatic draw down with the stitching, and there was really no rhyme nor reason why I did it like I did and why I started where I started. I just kind of got going, and when I totally finished the page, I did have to go back in and add a couple of more just to kind of make my eyes happy where the lines were. But what I did is I started off by just measuring from the right side of the paper. I measured in 1.5 inches and did a couple of marks. Did one line, and no real reason why this long. I just wanted them scattered the way that they are. Once I had that marked at 1.5 inches, I was able to take the ruler here and just kind of roll it back and forth and get a distance between those. If you don't have this ruler, then you can just, from that mark, you can just mark over and draw a straight line down and just go kind of wild with your paper to get those stitches going down. Once you have your lines marked, you'll want to go in and pierce. And this may be like old news to some of y'all if you've done the paper piercing or whatever. Um, I use the Tim Holtz piercer, and I just basically, since we're going across the very top here, what you want to do is pierce and sort of open your end up. I don't know if you can see that here, but I just pierced right on the edge, and I just opened that end up just a little bit. And in a minute, you'll kind of see what that's going to do when I start the stitching. Then follow your line down and do one more pierce, just one more hole right at the end of each of your line. And you can kind of see I've just got a hole just kind of at the end of each one. I like this. It's really quick. I do a lot of holes at times where I stitch all the way up, but not this particular page. So you can see even here with these stitches, you're just going to measure over a couple of lines, mark down, and then pierce a hole at each end. So then what I'm going to do, I'll show you, I use, most of the time I use the DMC floss. I get it at Hobby Lobby, Joann's, pretty much any place that sells fabric. Even Walmart actually sells this now. So this particular number is 3834. It's a really deep purple color, a little bit, kind of a little burgundy mix in there. But anyway, it matches the butterfly collection really well. So what I did, if you can see this back side, I'm just not real worried about how my stitches look. You want to thread a needle, a lot of thread. You can see this is an extra needle that I threaded. I've got sort of a large hole that I can thread through. I use all 6 strands of floss when I do this, so you'll need a pretty large hole to get all your thread through. Knot it on one end, and what I do is just my farthest line here. Originally, my farthest line, I went in first, and that's where you'll see my knot begins right there. And then what I do, once you go in with these stitches, you can see I've actually gone through and pulled it through right here on this line. And what I'm going to do is just kind of drag the thread up, and since you pierce that end, you've got a little indentation. Just pull your thread right through, kind of carefully. Don't do it hard. You don't want to rip your paper. And then you want to follow your mark over to your next hole over here at the bottom, and then just kind of run your needle through that hole. It's kind of hard to see, but you can feel it with your fingers. You can look from the front side and then feel with your fingers, and you can feel where you pierced. You just want to pull your thread through. Pull your thread through tight, just like that. Draw it back up to the top and put it right back in your little slit there that you've made at the top. And then the same thing, go back down, kind of feel with your finger back here where your next hole is. Go in. This is really quick. The hardest part is being blind, and I can't see my holes. But do the same thing. Pull it through the top. Grab it there. Feel again with your fingers. Your next hole. Go in. It looks really messy on the back. It looks really messy on the back, but it looks really nice on the front. And we want the front to look good. We're going to glue down that back, so it's not going to be a big deal. Going to feel for my next hole. Go in, and I may have to use my other needle that I've threaded already. So let's see if we have enough here. Probably no. Making these lines like this uses quite a bit of the floss. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and cut this off here. Just want to cut my thread kind of short, and you can see I've gone all the way through. The best thing to do with the back here for all these loose threads, I just use Scotch tape, and I tape kind of across the thread there just to kind of hold that down so that it doesn't pull back through. So that's really simple to do that like that. Now I'm going to grab my floss. I'm going to cut this off so we don't need quite as much as I have here, so we don't get knotted up. I'm going to cut that off. What you want to do is just tie a knot in the end, just a quick little knot. Go through your hole here, and I always do it from right to left. I'm right-handed, so I always go from right to left. You can go left to right. Sorry, I told you I'm blind, so my biggest problem is seeing the hole. So I'm going to go in, pull all the way through to my knot, sort of pull it down there, go to my next hole here, in, all the way up, and down, and then, again, we're just going to kind of tape that down and finish that off. If I can find where I put my tape. See, I'm just going to pull that back and tape that down. And what I like to do is just across the back, just periodically, I'm going to add a piece of tape kind of to my line so that I don't have anything snagging or pulling. Just really quickly, a few pieces of tape those down. So you can kind of see that's our finished look. And I always use kind of you can use foam or cardboard or anything to kind of pierce through when you pierce your holes. I don't think I mentioned that. So put all of our stitching activity out of the way. And we will move on and start layering up our page. Grab my glue. So what I'm going to do is just across the back, and you're going to have glue back here too, so you're not going to need, you're not really going to need so much tape on the back. You're going to kind of use your glue too. Just add our glue, and really quick before I move on, I want to ink my edges up. I'm just going to grab just a pink chalk edger and ink up my edges. Just helps with the depth to give a little bit of ink there. All the way around, all four sides. And then I'm just going to, like I said, I'm going to push it all the way to the top. It's going to be all the way up to the top, and then just kind of center it, just sort of eyeball it, kind of center it across the page. This kind of has a wood grain look, this paper in the background, so I thought these stripes of stitching just really made that look pretty with the stitches going straight down. It just really gave it a cute look. There with my mouse. Oh, and there with my glue, almost on the floor. Caught it. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is start layering up for our photo. And I can grab our photo real quick. I don't know if I have the same photo or not, but anyway, I really don't even have to have a photo. I guess I didn't think to grab a photo, so I'm just going to layer it up as if we have one. I've got a bag full of scraps over here, and what I like to do is use the scraps that I've cut off for different things to make the backgrounds. So you can see I'm just going to pull out a few pieces here, and you can see there's just a couple of pieces back there. So what I want to do is grab my trimmer, and I think for this one I'm going to grab my little trimmer. I'm not going to worry about pulling out the big guns. Just do this little guy. I usually use this for photos, and I love the size of this one, so let's cut some of this off so we can get it from both directions. And I'm just kind of eyeballing the size. You can see I'm just kind of eyeballing the size of that. That's pretty good. Maybe a little maybe a little shorter, and then behind, just want to grab this one, cut it off some, and I want to make this one just a little bit bigger than the one I just made, so let's just sort of use one to eyeball the other. Use my straight side. I've got kind of a jagged edge on one of those sides. Okay, so you can kind of see we're just going to kind of layer that up just about like that. And I'm going to go ahead and cut off this back too, because I think I want to use maybe 3. I'm going to kind of use this matte paper. Okay, let's move all our mess over out of the way. I can put it right back in the bag. I just like to keep all the scraps because for little things like this, little projects, different things, you always need your scraps, cards or whatever. So what I'm going to do is just kind of ink these up. And I've used a pink ink. I don't really know why I use pink, but I chose the pink to kind of ink the edges. Gives a little variation in color, so I'm just going to kind of ink these up really quick. And I want to build my cluster kind of around this photo area, so that's kind of the reason I'm doing this first, because I will actually build from that out for my actual pictures. I also want to pop this up with some cardboard. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to stand my layout up so I can see it. Just want to kind of layer these, add a little glue, layer these kind of up, just kind of move them kind of back and forth to get a little peek at the different layers. And my glue is, I should have got a new bottle because my glue is sort of, I'm going to have to lay it on its side. It's kind of down to the bare bones there. So I'm going to have trouble with the glue tonight. This cardboard's kind of thick. This is like a priority box, and they're kind of thinner, so I'm going to use a couple of pieces of cardboard. Y'all can use pop dots, but you know I'm not going to spend the money on pop dots. I am cheap. So I use cardboard. I don't touch my photo. I always am sure that I put a piece of cardstock between the cardboard and a photo, so you don't want to ruin your photos with the cardboard. But it's cheap. It's just cheap and accessible because I am getting boxes at my house all the time that I can use. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you a few dies that I used because in this layout I've got some of my layers are like these little little leaf pieces. Can you kind of see that? The little leaf pieces. I've made the little pinwheel flowers, which I love. I forget about them sometimes, and then I remember them and I go start making them again and putting them on everything. So I love the little pinwheel flowers. And another little die down here I cut from the paper. Dies are just really nice to have, and you can just use them over and over and over. Prima did some of the most beautiful dies ever. Y'all know that. These are, I'll show you really quick. This is what company is this? I don't remember what company this is. This is a memory box die. And you can see it just makes a really pretty foliage piece. So I'm going to use 2 of those. This is a Spellbinders die, and this is just a little label. So I'm going to use one of these to make a little label. And then this is the Tim Holtz, and this makes a little pinwheel flower. So I can get 2 sizes, and I will show you really quick. Go ahead and prepare these really quick. Let's move this real quick and I'll show you this real fast. But you can see, you just lay your paper down on these and you cut these out. It gives you 2 circles here too. And these are the finished ones that I have, but I'll show you. This is one that came out. It comes out about like this. This is the larger one. It's already scored, so all you're going to do is just pleat it. Just keep folding all the way across. Really quick, really simple to just fold, and you can see you're going to get kind of a little accordion there. It's hard to see there's little tiny slits in it that makes the little indentions there so you can fold easy, and you can kind of see that on this die. So what happens is you get a long piece like this. You want to glue them together. Excuse me, I'm going to start coughing and get a drink. When you glue them together, you're going to end up with a little piece like this. You can use these circles that come off the end, or you can just cut a little square fabric. I usually just cut a little square fabric. Just be sure it's smaller than your actual circle. Add a little glue to the square, and then you want to just lay this down, kind of like so. Just sort of push it down. You can kind of see, I just kind of push that down from the center, and you get that little shape there. Then just lay it right down on top of your little glued square. Hold it for just a minute, and you can set a jar of something. You can set your glue on it, but just let it sit for just a minute, and once it's dried, it's going to come apart because I'm not going to leave it long enough for it to dry. But once it's dry, you're going to get these cute little pinwheels. Easy peasy to do, and you can add any color from your paper collection or cardstock. It's just a way to add that extra pop of color and one more little accent you can use. And if you collect the dies, you've got them. It's a cheap little embellishment. So that's my cheapy embellishment tip. Once you own them, or once you have the dies, it is inexpensive. So what I'm going to do first here is just glue down. I'm not going to add the photo. You'll just kind of have to remember there's a photo that goes right there. I just want to kind of glue down my square here first of little scraps. Just kind of glue that down, and I don't really want it really. It doesn't have to be really straight, and I'm about probably 1.25 inches from the top. So just kind of glue that down. You don't want to slide it around a lot because you don't want to get your threads moving around. You don't want to get them kind of crooked looking. So you may have to lift it and shift it rather than dragging it back and forth. So you can see I'm gonna pull y'all down just a little bit closer. Let's see, is that better? Yeah, we can get the whole thing in there. I feel like the lighting in here is like really bad tonight. Let's get a little bit more light on here. How's that? Is that better? Maybe too shadowed now, but okay. So what I'm going to do first is I kind of want this elongated here. I kind of want this to kind of drip down. So first I'm going to add my. Hold on, my computer's going to sleep. Let me get my. I have to grab my mouse. Just going to kind of put these little dies kind of down in this area here. You can kind of see I just want it to be kind of long here. So just going to add a little bit of glue. Doesn't take a lot of glue for these little pieces. So I think I'm going to do it on this side. I think I like the darker side showing. I cut these from just scraps that I had from this actual background paper here. This kind of wood grain background paper there. So I was able to sort of mimic this color and draw this color up some. So just add these here. And this is sort of where I started. Just one right on top of the other. So you've got a nice thick little foliage area there. Next thing I added, as far as my flower clusters go, I love, I'm going to drop everything. I love these flowers right now. These are some of my favorites. This is Allure Acadia, I'm not sure how you say that, 581190. Some of my absolute favorites. I use them a lot lately. I'm using them like on every project. I had the same love affair with Another flower a while back, the Bethany flower. I use them on everything. So I sort of had to stop using so many of them. But what I want to do is just kind of fluff this one up. These are really thick, kind of like cardboard um, thick, but I want to kind of pull them apart and fluff them up a little bit. You can. They're hard, but you can floof them. So just floof it just a little. You can kind of see. I'm going to kind of floof him, and this is kind of where I started with my cluster. I used this pretty rose. And I like to pop the photo up, or I like to pop up whatever I'm doing so that I can kind of move the flowers around to kind of fit them on there. I like them to kind of fit and be kind of snug in the area where I'm adding them. So you can kind of see that's where I started, right there with my actual clustering. Um, let me grab the other flowers. I may not have the exact same flowers that I used, but I'm going to get really close. This is number 580599. I'm just going to give you a few flower numbers because I'm going to kind of move this pretty quickly here. 580650. Also, I have just a few of these left. 580605. And also we've got 581831. And we've got these flowers. These are some of my favorites too. I love the little gold centers. Love these. 580667. This is these are all the butterfly collection. These are a different collection, but all these pink and purple ones are all the butterfly collection. So what I'm going to do is just kind of have that there and add a little glue. Originally when I'm making it, and I know y'all are probably the same, I don't glue down immediately, but since I kind of know where I'm going with this, I'm going to go ahead and glue these so that they'll kind of stay in place for me. Also going to use some chipboard pieces, and that is going to be number 579081 for the chipboard. Going to add a couple of pieces of that, not this one, but we're going to use the word love, and we're going to use that cute little angel. Going to go ahead and put our little pinwheel flowers down here. On my original, and I know I did not pull that, I did not fussy cut those. I used a few fussy cut flowers from the rose paper. I'm not going to worry about adding those back in tonight, just for probably time purposes. But what I did on the rose paper here, let me just show you really quick because I hate to miss a step. I just kind of pulled out a few of the flower shapes, like this particular rose here. I just really quickly went in and just kind of cut that shape out so you can see it's just like part of a rose. And then if you add a little ink to the edges, it just makes a really pretty little embellishment to kind of tuck in. You can use it for your little empty spots. And I did that. I just did not remember to do that. So we may add a few extra flowers just to kind of fill in and do that. And we can do that. We have plenty of flowers to do that with. So next flower I'm going to add is this bigger flower here. And it sort of again mimics that background. I kind of was going with a taupey. I wanted the kind of the taupey purpley colors in this. Let's go ahead and glue him down. And what I like to do on these flowers is I like them to kind of tuck in next to one another, and I turn them and twist them until they kind of fit together. It just makes the cluster so much prettier if they just really fit together nicely. So what I'm going to do right now is use one of my pinwheels. Not sure what time we've got going on right now, but check the time in just a minute. Just want to kind of tuck that in right there. going to grab one of our little purple pinwheels here and want to kind of place these around. I like to do everything in threes. Um, if it's a flower like this, where they're different, I don't mind using one, but most of the time it's done in threes. This is not going to stick real well. So what I'm going to do is grab a piece of cardboard and tuck up under that those little flower blooms are a little, I think they're a little taller than the center, so let's put a couple little pieces of cardboard in there. Add that, just so we have something for it to adhere to, so we're not losing our flower every 5 minutes. Add it right there. This glue is so stringy. And again, I just want to kind of turn it until it kind of fits where I want it. And you can kind of feel when it kind of tucks in and it's kind of working for you. You can kind of feel that. So just kind of tuck that in right about there. Next thing I want to do is grab some of these flowers here. I don't think I gave you these numbers. It's number 581879. These are just really pretty. They kind of mimic these here. Grab a couple of our roses. Now just kind of build from largest to smallest. So just kind of keep in mind we're building our biggest to smallest flowers. Sort of go downhill with those. I'm going to tuck in one more of these. Like I said, I wanted 3. So I'm going to tuck this in just about right here, just so that it kind of peeks out. And you want to put things kind of under your layers and over the top of your layers and that kind of stuff so that you have lots of interest. Going to do next are these little pink and sort of natural colored roses. And this is our medium flower, so we just want to kind of add these in. And I want to start kind of pulling this down. So I'm going to add a medium flower right about there. Up in the top here, I want to add one more right about there. And just because I have it and I don't have the little hand cut flower, I'm going to add one more of these little pinwheels just up in here. In fact, I'm going to have to cut this a little bit. I'm just going to cut that away so that it will tuck under like I need it to, right about there. I want to hide most of it. Tuck it right about there. And you can see I've got 3 of the purple ones and then just 1 of the pink one right here. So I'm still kind of on my 3 and 1, or my, what is it? Everything's kind of done in odd numbers. Kind of keep those odd numbers going. Throw my flowers across the room. So I'm just going to grab this other shape of this flower right here. We're going to kind of add it in just a minute. I want to pull some white, so I'm going to grab a few of these white flowers from this pack here. Grab these. What I'm going to do is kind of fluff this up. Add the first white one, and again, I like little pops of colors. So within your clusters, keep your colors kind of popping in different areas, and just be sure you got your triangle kind of moving around your page, keeping those colors sort of. Just want to kind of lift that and tuck it in right about there. So you can see we're kind of going to drag this down just as we move around, dragging it down more and more. Next thing I want to add, let's see, I want to add this flower I think that I cut just right up in that area right there. I had a little bit bigger one on my original, but this one will work fine. Just want to kind of put it right there. Gives you just that little bit of color, and it's kind of flat to kind of help with this foliage there. I'm going to go ahead and add my little angel, only because I added him. Actually, I added him a lot earlier when I was originally making it, because I really wanted the photo of my little grandbaby. She's looking down, and the little angel's looking up. The little cherub is kind of looking up. So my idea was to have him looking up at her, it just made sense. And I want a couple of pieces of this cardboard, so. Add one more. And this glue is going to drive me crazy. One more. And then some glue on the back. And we're going to tuck it in right about here. He's lifted up just a little bit so you can kind of see. Fill in all those little gaps. Have him right about there. He is so cute. This is just the prettiest collection that Jody Lee did. I love the purples, and I just love the design of all of it. So what I'm going to do now is grab a few of these flowers, and I'm just going to kind of use these as fillers because they're flat. And I'm just going to kind of grab the taupey colors and the kind of the purple colors. Don't really want to introduce any more colors than that. Maybe we may do one little pink one. We'll just grab a few of those. We may not use them all, but we'll have them there just in case. Grab a few of these as well. And I just want more of the darker purple and kind of the neutral colored flowers. Maybe one of the pink ones there as well. Like I said, I may not use all these, but we'll have them. We need them. I also want to take a few of these because I want to move that white around just a little bit more. So let's grab a few of these. I like these with the gold centers or the natural centers. Even the pearls, just any of it kind of works. But we'll grab out a few just so we can kind of pull some balance or whatever with it. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is kind of use these little flat ones to kind of draw out this design kind of out to the right just a little bit. I'm going to pull my little deal up so that I can tuck it under. And that's what you want to do. You just want to be sure that you're tucking it under and keeping all of your layers visible. You don't want anything flat. Everything needs to be poofy. Is that a good word for this? Maybe not, but anyway, it needs to have some depth. So I'll grab a white one. So I feel like I'm talking lower and lower, so if y'all can't hear me, obviously I can't read the chat and work. I just y'all are just chatting away, and I don't know a thing you're saying or what's going on, but that's okay. Just want to grab a few more of these. I want to kind of tuck this one in right about there. And I've got this little shaped one here. I don't think I had the number for this one, Carrie. These are the little wrapped ones. And I don't think I used it on my original, but it's here, so it looks like it would be really cute right about there. And I can never seem to get my flower clusters exactly the same every time. I'm not so worried about that. I'm going to pull my foliage down just a little bit. A little glue under that. Then I want to use these with these little gold centers. Just kind of tucking them in, and you see I'm just kind of dragging that down. It's just kind of dragging down in this direction. Just move some of this off so we can see where we need more. I'm going to go ahead down here at the bottom and add my little title. I've got this little die that I cut earlier with the Spellbinders die. I'm going to pop that up with just a little bit of cardboard. We're going to add that right about there. And again, it just brings your entire eye down. Our title is going to be Love. And what I like to do is tear off this entire sticky portion of the back. I'm afraid the lifetime of that sticky will not survive the lifetime of this layout, so I like to add some Fabri-Tac anyway, so I just kind of pull that away, but you can see added that right about there. And then what I can do now is just kind of go in where I see kind of some empty spots and where I kind of want to draw the eye out away, and I just want to add a few more of these small flowers, a few more white. I'm going to have maybe a white one right in here so that we've got that triangle there again. Get that triangle of the white color, the balance kind of around the page. And you will notice, looking from the original layout to this layout, that the flower clustering is going to be just a little bit different, but it all works. It all just looks really pretty. These flowers all go very well, and right now I'm just filling in kind of some vacant spots. Maybe tuck one right up under here. Kind of see, kind of liking the look of that. So what I'm going to do now is grab my, see what time we've got. Well, I'm doing really good on time. I may finish early tonight. But what I want to do is grab my brad. I've got several things that I want to use. I've got several things here that I want to use. I've got first, these are from the Delight collection, Brad's number 950903. I love the heart shapes here, and I wanted to add a few hearts kind of staggered down the page. So I'm just going to pick a few, and these colors blend pretty well with this collection, so I'm just going to grab a few hearts, and I'll cut their little legs off. Carrie may appreciate me finishing up early tonight, so she can rest. Thailand is a long way away. Is she telling y'all all about her trip? I see Thailand was awesome. Love it. Yes, Carrie owes me a long conversation with all the details. It's so exciting that she got to go. So I'm just cutting the legs off. I like to cut most of it off and then just fold the rest of it in, kind of hid. Sorry about that. I think my allergies are acting up a little bit. Okay. We got 3 little butterflies. And these are brads that would go with the butterfly collection, number 579326. And what I'm going to do with these, I'm just going to leave these little butterflies here for just, or these little hearts here for just a minute. I'm going to grab these, and I want to pull one of these ones with the purple glittery center. You see that? It's gorgeous. So I'm going to cut his legs off, and I just chop them off with my scissors. And I probably shouldn't use my cutter bee scissors, but I do. Just want to fill it with glue. And this is going to be the center of my little pinwheel flowers. So we're going to grab another one, and I think I used this brad, this larger brad here. It's actually got a little bird on it. I don't know if you can see that. It's really pretty. So cut his legs off. Add a little glue. He will go right there. And then I'm going to use these. I don't have these numbers, Carrie. I don't have them in the packaging, but these are the little satin crystal pieces that came with the butterfly collection. So I want to grab this kind of a purpley gray color. That'll be my center for that one. I want to grab a pink one here and make it, just kind of tuck it under there, but make it the center of that one. So you can see we've got centers on all of our pinwheels. Still going to leave our butterflies right there. Next thing I'm going to do is grab these. These are the E-line crystals from forever ago, which I still have them, and you can get crystals from just about anywhere. I wanted to use these little brown ones, and what I did is just like right at the end of these threads, periodically I used a few of these, kind of the beige or the brown, or you could use purple. The brown just kind of blended with this deep purple color, so just in a few areas I added these, just kind of the beigey. and the brown kind of at the top of the threads or at the bottom of the threads. I just wanted that for just a little bit more interest, and I used the smallest ones, but you could use, you could use any one that, I've lost my little, there it is. You can use any one that you like. Also, I'm using my little hearts here as more little drippy areas or more little fill-in spots. And this is just a little filler here for color. I've got glue stuck everywhere, so see if we can get him to lay down. Just kind of tuck them in and around. Add this one right about here. Right about here. They're sticking to my fingernails. They're sticking to everything. This glue is very sticky. Add that one about there. And then we've got one more. Make sure he's kind of straight. Pull this little foliage out from under him. Right about there. And then we've got one more little heart. I want to add it right about here. Just tuck it in. It's not going to be a drastic change when you add these little pieces, but just detail. You just want a lot of attention to detail. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to do is grab my mask, and I'm not huge with the heavy mixed media. I like touches of the mixed media here and there. I just like to use it for my details. But what I did is I just added a few circles with the bubble mask and the modeling paste, and I just went in, just grab a little modeling paste, and I just went in a few areas and added a circle here or there. I didn't, and I just was grabbing one circle, just like that, just in a few areas. And I did it after my page was done, so that I could strategically do it and place them exactly where I wanted them. If you do happen to go over in a circle that you didn't want, just kind of wipe it away with your finger. You can do that until it dries. And I'm just randomly placing these, but in a specific nature, I guess. They are kind of random, but I am strategically placing them, and you can see I'm getting a few of the circles that I don't want, but I'm able to just wipe it away. So what I did is even turn it around, and in this top area here, I did the same thing, just added a few. I'm never brave enough to do this ahead of time, and you can see I'm doing this much faster than I did it too, so I'm kind of going over. I'm never brave enough to just do this before. I kind of do this after the project's done because I just don't want to overdo when I do it like this. So I just sort of bend my mask up and I make it work. See, we need about one more down here. And so I just place them until I'm happy with where they are. So that is about it for that. Grab a paper towel, see what time we've got. I did good. I am 10 minutes under, and we are done. We don't have this dried yet, but that's pretty much it. You can see that is our page. Give you a closer look at even and the modeling paste is going to dry kind of opaque, so it's going to be a little clearer, but it's just going to be one little more detail that you've got there. So you can kind of see what I got going on. Okay, so that is it. I'm going to pan back up, and I get to maybe read the chat for a second. Get Carrie back to bed. I know she needs to go to sleep. Okay. Okay, let's see if I can see what anybody's saying. And hey to everybody that I missed. So y'all can see this is the layout that I created tonight. kind of see that, and then this is our original. So they're pretty similar, a little different, but basically similar. So you can see, we'll let that dry, and I can add a different picture, and that'll be a nice gift for somebody. Um, but I'm going to go ahead and sign off and let Carrie go to sleep. Thank y'all so much for joining me. Um, so many people I see, hey to Paula, so many people I see that are so loyal to join us every time, and we appreciate it so much. Don't forget about Frank's show on Tuesday. Also, the special delivery kit. Go to livewithprima.com. Be sure to get yours, and I will see you guys in a few weeks. Thank you again so much for joining me. Bye now.